Have you ever walked into your own house, closed the door behind you, and thought, why doesn't it smell fresh even though I cleaned? It's such a small thing, but the air we breathe at home can decide how calm or how heavy our hearts feel. I still remember visiting an elderly Japanese woman's home in California. Her house wasn't big, not fancy, but the moment I stepped inside, I felt something different. The air was light, the kind of freshness that made you breathe a little deeper without even trying. There were no strong air fresheners, no expensive candles, just a quiet, lived-in home that somehow carried the scent of peace. And I asked myself, how does she do this? Here's the twist. She wasn't working harder to make her house smell good. She was doing less. She simply followed a few gentle habits, repeated quietly every day. Habits that didn't just make her home smell fresh, they helped her keep a sense of control in her life, even at 80 years old. And that's when it struck me. For so many of us over 60, it's not really about whether the house smells nice. It's about what that freshness means. A fresh home says, I still have order. I still have dignity. I am still in charge of my own space. And the silent fear many carry that losing strength means losing control suddenly feels lighter. That's why in this video, I want to share with you 7 Japanese-inspired habits that can keep your home smelling fresh all day. They're simple, they're practical, and they won't exhaust you. You don't need to buy fancy products. You don't need to push yourself. Each one is a small step, but together they can change the way your home feels and the way you feel in it. And if you stay until the end, I'll share the quiet night routine that the Japanese woman called her secret pearl, the habit that made her mornings start lighter every single day. Before we begin, I'd love to know, where are you watching from, and how has your energy level or relationship with your home been lately? We read every single comment, and your story might be just what someone else needs today. Now, let's begin with the very first habit, the one that takes no money, almost no time, and yet changes everything. The morning air ritual. Habit 1. Morning air ritual. Open windows with purpose. When was the last time you truly let your house breathe? Not just cracked a window for a second, but opened your space wide enough to welcome the morning? In Japan, there's a quiet ritual called asa no kuki ire, which simply means letting in the morning air. It sounds almost too simple, but the way it's done carries intention. By opening opposite windows or doors for 10 to 15 minutes, the stale air from yesterday is swept out and replaced with the fresh, cool breath of today. No sprays, no machines, just air moving naturally through your home. I remember visiting an older Japanese woman named Noriko. Even at 80, she never skipped this habit. At 7 a.m., she would slide her windows open, no matter if it was warm or cold outside, and sit with her tea while the breeze danced through her curtains. She told me almost in a whisper, I want my home to greet me with new breath every morning. Watching her, I realized she wasn't just refreshing her home, she was refreshing her spirit. And I thought of us, as we grow older, how easy it is to keep things closed, our windows, our doors, sometimes even our hearts. Many seniors quietly fear that their homes will become stuffy, closed off, forgotten, the way they sometimes fear being left behind themselves. But fresh air does more than clear odors. It reminds us that we are still connected to the world, still part of its rhythm. I used to keep my windows closed most of the time, worried about dust or the effort. But when I tried Noriko's ritual, just 10 minutes each morning, I felt a shift inside me. My mind felt clearer, the rooms felt lighter, and suddenly the house seemed more alive. She once told me, when air moves, life moves with it. A closed room makes a closed heart. Even science confirms that indoor air can be up to 5 times more polluted than outdoor air. Sometimes the answer isn't more effort, it's simply letting go. So tomorrow morning, will you try opening your windows with purpose, not just to ventilate, but as a gentle gift to yourself? And once the air is moving, there's something else we need to look at, the hidden fabrics in our home that quietly hold on to smells. Let's talk about that next. Habit 2. Wash the hidden fabrics. Do you know where the quietest odors in your home hide? They're not always in the trash can or the kitchen sink. Most often, they linger in the soft places we forget: curtains, pillow covers, rugs, even the throw blanket folded neatly on the couch. These fabrics act like sponges, silently absorbing smells from cooking, sweat, or simply time passing. And when they're not cared for, they whisper back those odors into the air. In Japan, older women pay special attention to these hidden fabrics. I remember visiting Mrs. Tanaka, who was well into her 70s. Her living room looked simple, but when I sat down, the cushions smelled faintly of lavender, as if they'd just been touched by the sun. She smiled and told me her secret. Every 2 weeks, she washed the covers. Once a month, she aired her curtains in the breeze, and a few times a year she laid her rugs outside for the sun to do its quiet work. The house, she said, keeps its freshness through fabric, not just floors. For many of us, the thought of taking down curtains or dragging a rug outside feels overwhelming. And underneath that reluctance lies a quiet fear. The fear that if we can't manage these small things, maybe we're no longer able to manage our homes at all. That sense of losing control is something so many older adults carry in silence. But here's the gentle truth. You don't need to do it all at once. Even washing one pillowcase or shaking out a small rug makes a difference. I once tried Mrs. Tanaka's way, starting with just my cushion covers. The next morning, the room felt lighter, as if I had opened a window inside the fabric itself. She told me something that stayed with me. When fabric is heavy, the heart feels heavy too, but when fabric is fresh, life feels fresher. Studies even show that clean textiles reduce allergens and improve sleep quality. It's not just about smell, it's about how we feel in our own space. So maybe tonight, instead of worrying about the whole house, choose just one hidden fabric. Wash it or air it out. You can do this too. And as we care for these quiet layers of our homes, there's another natural ally waiting in our kitchen pantry. Something so simple yet so powerful that it can neutralize odors at their root. Let's move to that next. Habit 3. Vinegar and citrus magic. Have you ever opened your fridge or walked past the trash can and felt a faint sour smell you couldn't quite name? It's the kind of odor that lingers in silence, the one we try to cover with sprays or candles. But the truth is, covering doesn't solve the root. Here's the simple, overlooked secret: vinegar and citrus. Two everyday things that, when combined, do more than clean. They heal the air of your home. Here's how it works. A small bowl of plain white vinegar placed behind the fridge or under the sink quietly pulls odors out of the air. It doesn't mask them. It neutralizes them. If the smell of vinegar feels too sharp, add a handful of lemon or orange peels. Suddenly, the mix isn't harsh but uplifting. Another way? Boil citrus peels in a small pot with a splash of vinegar. Let the steam rise. It's like a natural purifier that sweeps through your kitchen or bathroom. The scent is clean, light, not heavy or artificial. You can do this too. It costs almost nothing and takes minutes. I remember visiting Mrs. Aoki, an 82-year-old widow who lived alone. She showed me a tiny jar on her kitchen shelf, half filled with vinegar and a spiral of orange peel. She said, "This is my quiet helper. It keeps my kitchen young." I asked her why she used it instead of store sprays. She looked down for a moment and said, "Because I don't want to fight with smells. I want to live gently with them." Her words struck me. Many older women carry an unspoken fear that if their home smells stale, people might think they can't keep up anymore, that age has taken away their pride. But in her simple jar, she found both dignity and freshness. From my own view, I've tried this habit. At first I doubted it. How could vinegar really work? But after one night with a small bowl tucked behind my trash bin, I noticed the air felt lighter, calmer. No perfume, no cover-up, just nothing bad. And then, as the citrus began to release its quiet brightness, the space felt alive again. A study from the Japanese Environmental Health Journal even noted that citrus scent reduces stress hormones and improves mood. No wonder Mrs. Aoki smiled so softly when she picked up her little jar. She once told me, "When the house smells fresh, my heart feels like opening the window wider." That's the kind of wisdom we can carry, small, humble, but powerful. So tonight, before you go to bed, maybe slice a lemon peel, place it in vinegar, and let it sit by the sink. Tomorrow morning, breathe deeply. You'll notice the change. You can do this too. And if caring for the air with vinegar and citrus is one layer of freshness, there's another hidden trick many Japanese women use, bringing scent not from sprays, but directly through the act of cleaning itself. Let's walk into that gentle habit next. Habit 4. Cleaning with aroma. Do you ever notice how most store-bought cleaners leave behind a sharp, chemical smell that feels more tiring than refreshing? What if cleaning itself could leave behind a fragrance so gentle it felt like a small gift to your senses? That's the Japanese way, folding scent right into the act of cleaning, so freshness doesn't come after, but during. Here's how it looks in practice. Instead of using plain water or harsh sprays, mix a simple solution. Half water, half white vinegar, and add 10 to 15 drops of essential oil, lavender to relax, lemon for energy, or mint for clarity. Use it to wipe counters, door handles, bathroom tiles. Each stroke not only cleans, but also releases a quiet aroma that lingers. Even when mopping, a few drops of oil in the bucket of warm water turn the chore into something almost soothing. You can do this too. It's light, affordable, and easy on arthritic hands because the scent itself feels like encouragement. I remember sitting in Mrs. Sato's small living room. She was 78, living with arthritis in her knees, yet her home always carried the faintest note of citrus and lavender. I asked if she used air fresheners. She laughed softly and said, "No, my mop sings for me." She showed me her bucket, just warm water with lemon peel and a dash of oil. She explained, "I cannot scrub for hours anymore, but if the house smells fresh while I clean, I don't feel weak. I feel cared for." Those words touched me, because beneath them was a quiet fear many older women share, that their homes might start smelling stale, and people will assume they can't keep up. But for her, scent woven into each action became a shield of dignity. From my own view, when I tried this method, I noticed something different. Instead of dreading chores, I felt a small sense of reward with each wipe. The lavender didn't just linger in the air, it softened my own mood. Research from the Journal of Alternative Medicine even notes that lavender reduces anxiety and improves sleep. Imagine cleaning your home while gently healing your spirit. Mrs. Sato once told me, "A clean home is not only what you see, but also what you breathe." That truth stays with me. So next time you wipe a surface, don't just aim for spotless. Let your mop or cloth carry a little joy with it. And if scent in the act of cleaning brings peace, imagine when fragrance flows invisibly from hidden corners, surprising you throughout the day. That's the next quiet habit we'll step into. Habit 5. Invisible scent corners. Have you ever walked into someone's home and thought, "It smells wonderful here, but I don't see any candles or sprays"? That's the secret of invisible scent corners. Small, hidden touches of fragrance that whisper freshness without ever shouting. Here's a simple way to do it. Take a few cotton balls, add a drop or two of essential oil, lavender, orange, or eucalyptus, and tuck them behind couch cushions, inside drawers, or at the back of your closet. Another trick is to make small sachets with dried flowers or citrus peels. Place them in your shoe cabinet or bedside table and let them quietly release their aroma. No effort, no clutter, just gentle freshness that greets you throughout the day. You can do this too. It only takes a few minutes, but it changes how your space feels. I remember visiting Mrs. Tanaka, an 82-year-old widow who lived alone. Her home was modest, but when I stepped inside, there was always this faint, welcoming scent. Not overpowering, just enough to make me want to sit down and breathe. She smiled when I asked, and pulled out a tiny sachet she had made from an old handkerchief filled with rice and lavender oil. "I hide them everywhere," she laughed softly, "so even if I forget to light a candle, the house still remembers me." What she didn't say directly, but I felt deeply, was that her greatest fear wasn't dust or clutter. It was her home smelling empty, like no one lived there anymore. From my own perspective, this habit has taught me that scent doesn't need to be on display to matter. Sometimes the most comforting things are the ones you don't see, but always feel. A Japanese saying goes, "The unseen fragrance lasts the longest." And maybe that's true. Not only for smell, but for the way our presence lingers in a home. If you'd like to try, start small. Pick just one corner, the shoe cabinet, the drawer with your scarves, or even under the pillow. Hide a quiet scent there and notice how it surprises you later. And if fragrance can come from places we don't even notice, what about tackling the very places that usually betray us, the ones most likely to carry bad smells? That's where our next habit will take us. Habit 6. Trash can ritual. Have you ever noticed how one small thing, the trash can decide whether your whole house feels fresh or heavy? Many of us change the bag and think it's enough, but odors hide in the container itself. In Japan, older women often treat the trash can with the same care as the kitchen table. Once a week, they pour hot water mixed with a little vinegar inside, let it sit for a few minutes, then dry it completely. Before placing a new bag, they tuck in a cotton pad with a few drops of lavender or citrus oil. It takes no more than 2 minutes, but the result is a kitchen that never carries yesterday's smell. I remember visiting Michiko, an elderly woman who shared her story with a shy smile. Her daughter once told her, "Mom, your house is clean, but it smells like the trash." That comment hurt deeply. For her, it wasn't about the odor, it was about dignity. After learning this vinegar ritual, she said proudly, "Now my home smells like tea, not garbage." What she really meant was, "Now I feel safe letting people in again." Many older women quietly fear that their families will think they can't manage their homes anymore. It's not just about cleaning, it's about still being in charge of your own space. I used to overlook this too, until I tried it myself, and I realized it's not only about keeping the can clean, it's about telling myself I deserve a space that feels cared for, even in the corners no one sees. As Michiko once said, "If even my trash can smells good, then I know my home is truly clean." Her words remind me that peace comes from details. So maybe this week, try it for yourself. You can do this too. Pour the vinegar, let it sit, and place a little scent at the bottom. You'll notice the air feels lighter. And speaking of air, there's one more quiet habit that can transform not just how your home smells, but also how your heart rests at night. Let's talk about what happens before bedtime. Habit 7. Evening scent routine. Have you ever noticed how the smell of your bedroom at night can change the way you sleep? Some homes smell heavy in the evening, like the day still lingers. But in many Japanese homes, older women have a quiet ritual that makes the night feel lighter. They prepare the air with a gentle scent before bed. It doesn't take much. A small spray bottle with water, a drop of lavender oil, maybe chamomile, a quick mist on the pillow, the curtains, or even the slippers by the bed. Others place a tiny cotton ball with orange peel or cedar inside the nightstand drawer, so that when they open it in the morning, the day begins with freshness instead of staleness. The whole ritual takes less than 3 minutes, but it turns the room into a space that feels cared for, safe, and welcoming. I remember visiting Yasuko, a widow in her 70s. She told me quietly, "For a while I dreaded evenings because the silence felt too heavy. But now, when I mist lavender before bed, it feels like I'm tucking myself in with kindness." What she feared wasn't the dark. It was the thought that her nights would feel empty and forgotten. Her ritual wasn't just about aroma. It was about reclaiming peace. And I felt that too. There were nights when I went to bed surrounded by yesterday's air, and it carried my worries into my dreams. But the first night I tried this, just a small spray of lavender, I woke up lighter, calmer, as if someone had pressed a reset button. It made me realize that freshness isn't only for visitors. It's a gift we give to ourselves. As Yasuko once said, "When the night smells kind, the morning feels kinder too." Maybe tonight, you can try this small habit for yourself. You can do this too. Just one mist, one gentle gesture, and notice how it shifts the mood. And now, as we wrap up these 7 habits, let's bring them all together into one closing thought. Because the secret of a fresh home isn't about impressing others, but about creating a space where your heart feels at ease. Your home doesn't need to impress. It just needs to let you breathe easier. That's the quiet truth I've learned after years of listening to the way elders keep their homes light and fresh. I'm reminded of a gentle line from a Japanese grandmother I once visited. She said, "When my home is light, my heart feels lighter too." And in that moment, I understood. Freshness isn't just about air or smell or tidiness. It's about dignity, about feeling safe, calm, and still in control of the little world we live in every day. And maybe you've carried the same quiet fear I have, the fear that as we age, we'll no longer be able to keep up, that our homes will grow heavy around us. But here's the truth. You're not behind. You're simply ready. And you can do this too. We've walked through 7 simple habits together. Opening windows with purpose each morning. Washing the hidden fabrics that quietly hold yesterday's air. Using vinegar and citrus to reset the atmosphere. Cleaning with gentle aromas. Tucking invisible scent corners around your home. Caring for the trash can as if it were part of the family. And finally, ending the day with a small evening scent ritual. Each one is tiny, but together they build a home that feels like a soft breath of relief. So I want to ask you gently, which habit will you try first? Share it below. You might inspire someone else who needs that very same encouragement today. Until next time, be kind to your space, and even kinder to yourself.